Ray, thank you so much for joining us here. Excited for this discussion. Would love to just start off by having you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Mitch. It's great to be with you and great to be a part of Pond. I am a career private investment professional. Started my career at the old chemical bank, now part of JP Morgan, and financing leveraged buyouts and large corporate acquisitions. And that launched me on a career in the private investing arena. Began investing in technology back in the late 90s, and I've spent the last 10 years with a firm called Two Sigma, where I led the private investment business, endeavoring to benefit from investing Two Sigma's capabilities in technology and data science to invest in companies that were innovating using those types of capabilities in a variety of different industry verticals, like Pond in the nonprofit sector. I'm also started a new firm, left Two Sigma about a year ago and started a new firm called Clear Heights Capital, as well as Focus Impact Partners, and where we're employing a double bottom line to investing in great companies. I'm also the chair of the board of You Think, which is a venture philanthropy organization dedicated to helping grassroots nonprofits grow and expand their capacity. So I'm very excited to be a part of Pond and to help bring some of that experience to the advisory board and the work that you're doing.
Amazing. And you've got just a few things on your plate over there, Ray, keeping yourself busy. It's really helpful to know a bit more about your kind of like professional titles, but I'd also just love to go a few layers deeper of just what are some other layers of your identity that are important to you?
Sure. Well, I'm very, I have a wonderful family. We live in New York. My wife, I've been married to for more than 20 years now, and 3 wonderful kids, ranging in age from 6 to 15. We are really focused as a family on being able to give back. We've been blessed to have had some financial success and professional success, and so we've, as I mentioned, are deeply involved in a few different nonprofit organizations. One of which is a venture philanthropy model that allows us to be able to give an hour or give a dollar and have that be spread across many organizations that are growing organizations and serving quite a few people in their own communities, and to help those organizations build their capacity to be able to do more. Which is one of the reasons I'm excited about Pond and the marketplace that you're creating to bring advancing technologies and business services and practices to the nonprofit sector to help nonprofits who do a tremendous amount to deliver impact, social impact in particular, to give them the access to and the benefit of and the knowledge on how to use and implement and deploy those advancing technology practices and services that are used more commonly in the business community.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are so on the cutting edge of impact as like a business area, which is why I think we really bonded when we first met over a year ago. I'd love to just dig in a little bit more, because obviously you worked in the broader financial industry, but was there something that drew you to focus on impact as like an investing thesis and a philanthropy thesis? Like, where did that kind of love story with impact for you start?
Well, I've come to believe over the last number of years throughout my career that a value system of trying to do good while also doing well is a core component to building a great business and a highly successful business, to recruiting and retaining terrific people to be a part of that business, and also to serving your customers in the best way possible. And so impact to me and mission orientation to me is a real value system around how you want to do business in the right way. And importantly, I think that philanthropy is incredibly important to delivering impact, and it has a super important role to play in that regard. And it's terrific that Pond is enabling philanthropic organizations to be more successful and to be able to build, the impact that they're having in a greater way. Government has certainly a role in providing a safety net, but also has a number of challenges. And business, has to do more to help not only the environment and sustainability, which is important, but has to do a lot more to help people. And so, being a double bottom line investor, if you will, to use a term of art, is important to me as a way forward for the world.
Yeah, and you a lot of people say like I'm involved in nonprofit work, and it's like really they just donate. And I can attest to the fact that you really roll up your sleeves and are super engaged and helpful to the work at You Think and others. From getting closer to that work and really getting at the ground level, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about nonprofit work from your perspective that maybe you hear from other folks that have some assumptions or things about the work then without getting as close to it?
Well, one of the things I think you realize about nonprofits, if you spend quite a bit of time with them, is that they have to, not only serve their mission and serve the communities in which they're endeavoring to serve, but they also have to raise their capital and their funds every year to be able to do that, and to be able to, and they have to then manage the organization that they've built. So what has always struck me about the nonprofits that I've had the benefit of working with is how talented the executive directors and the leadership teams of those nonprofits are. And so for one of my personal passions is to work with the executive directors and the founders of nonprofits to help them be able to do more of what they do, to take, my business experience in building companies and corporate organizations to try to, and to leverage others, experience in that regard to try to help them, build their organization so they can serve more, people and do more and have more impact. It's one of the reasons actually I'm attracted to companies like Pond that are at the beginning of their their growth and success, where I can work with with you and other founders to try to help you succeed and try to help you build a company that can have lasting success.
No, well, it's very much appreciated. And I couldn't agree more in maybe some of the underestimated value, especially of the people and people in leadership in the nonprofit space. I've learned so much and I apply it within our startup. And I feel like there are so many lessons that successful nonprofits exhibit or practices that they have that more businesses should be adopting. Are there any that come to mind for you of a nonprofit lesson that you wish more companies would learn?
Absolutely. I think and I always say that my nonprofit board service and work has been, a real key contributor to my, to my development as a business professional and my ability to help, CEOs and boards of companies that I've been an investor in have success. And one of the key factors in that regard is that in the for-profit world, there's always a unifying, principle of we're endeavoring to do well. We're endeavoring to grow, to grow our business and our profitability, for all of our stakeholders. In the nonprofit world, there isn't necessarily that unifying principle of profit. And so, there's a great deal of, importance around building stakeholder ownership, across the nonprofit organization. And you have oftentimes have board members from different backgrounds, different experiences, quite a bit of diversity. And so, that consensus orientation that you have to develop to be successful in a nonprofit community is something that you often don't, that you should actually, spend more time, developing and using the techniques that you often see in a nonprofit, context to develop in a for-profit world. And that's from my perspective, being able to, benefit from that, from being in that nonprofit type of community and decision-making process and stakeholder alignment building. I've been able to take many of those things and, apply them in the for-profit world. And I think to the benefit of those, to my own personal development and professional development, but also to the companies I've been involved with.
Yeah, it's like, speed ends up being such a priority in the for-profit world. And so I think consensus building is almost like anathema to moving quickly. But when you're focused on impact and lasting positive outcomes, it's absolutely the right long-term decision.
Yes, indeed. And I think that that second focus on impact is something that's really, that I think is being learned, has been learned by many companies, and it's certainly part of the, the zeitgeist of many companies as a result of efforts like, of those like Larry Fink and others, and your former colleagues at Goldman and David Solomon and John Waldron and others. But that approach to having the impact that the business is making being a core, outcome of the business, because it is actually good for that company, is something that I think, we use the term double bottom line approach, that I think is increasingly important to, financials, to the overall growth and success of a company, where those two, the financial return and the social return or environmental return, as the case may be, are aligned in, increasing, increasing proportion of the, the overall economy.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to wrap up, Ray, since it's funny, I was trying to remember the exact date that we met, but I think it was almost exactly a year ago or very close to it. And had the good fortune to stay in touch and get closer and get to know each other better over the past year. But I would love to just hear from you. What is it? You've got so many things you could be spending your time on. What is it that really made you want to jump in and be more involved with Pond, both as an investor and now as a formal member of our advisory board?
Well, first of all, I'm a firm believer in the company's mission. It aligns really well with what I would like to spend, my time on. And so secondly, I think there's a huge opportunity for the adoption and implementation of technologies and business practices in the nonprofit sector that are available in the business community, the for-profit world, to the benefit of those nonprofits and the communities they serve, because it can help them, be more efficient, raise more capital, and serve more people, and serve people that they serve in a better way. And then the third thing is really you, Mitch. I have a great passion for working with founders, and either in the for-profit world or the not-for-profit world, and to help endeavor to succeed. And so your passion for Pond, and your motivation and leadership capabilities are infectious for me, and so I want to help you and Pond grow and succeed.
Amazing. Well, we are super grateful for you and your time and everything, all the support along the way. I am not exaggerating when I say I don't think I would still be here today without it. So really, relied on that at a lot of critical times. So I'm super appreciative, and we've got a lot of work to do. So I'm excited to have you on board to help out.
Indeed. Well, thank you. The pleasure's all mine, and I'm excited for the future of Pond.